Before we start off, I want to personally thank those who have been recently giving me support on the whole thing. What happened with the previous video, which again, I'm fine. If you guys see my recent comment, I probably got scammed again twice yesterday or today because I'm recording this actually the evening of, well, the day I got scammed. But, I'm fine. It's a long story. It's just like, holy crap. But the best way we could do it is to move forward from this situation. And honestly, I think the best way to do it is make another video that isn't scam related or some bullshit. And honestly, I've been meaning to want to throw my hat in the ring with this because this is a very, very fascinating situation that's brewing in a place that no one really is talking about that much, or many gamers will not talk about at all, because it is very interesting. And before I start, even though I do have proof that I have played one game of theirs, that's the thing. I only played one chapter, so my thing might not be invalid. And to make matters funnily worse, it was the third chapter, so my thing is invalid. But I do want to talk about this because this is sort of kind of is something that's very interesting because it is kind of fascinating due to the current state of when this situation is happening, because there's a much more bigger video game situation that ironically is the same as the previous of this situation. For context, and trying to now dumpster dive into this, for those who don't know, Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime. Many people are excited. Me, but, I am kind of hopeful for this. I mean, Chapter 4, this is going to be a hot take. I say Chapter 4 was pretty good story-wise. Keyword story-wise. And I'll get to the reason why in a bit. But Chapter 5 is coming out. And guess when it's coming out? Well, there's good news and bad news. The good news is it's coming out next month. Bad news is many people justifiably don't like that. And just to clarify, there is a justifiable reason why they don't like that. In fact, even I can kind of see kind of why it might be a bad idea. Especially since it's also weird due to the fact of this. Again, the reason why I want to talk about this is because this is taking place during the situation of another series that, unlike Poppy Playtime, I have played endlessly and loved it. And right now I'm having a love-hate relationship because of a certain DLC they just released, and that is Pokemon. Because in a way, Poppy Playtime and Mom Entertainment, mainly Mom Entertainment, ironically is now doing the exact same shit that the Pokemon company is doing. And that is because, for those who don't know, the previous chapter was released last year, ironically around the same time, although January. Which, okay, again, there's not, to my opinion, even though, again, my opinion is invalid due to the facts that I only played the third chapter. For reasons being now, like, catnap. But, anyways, story wise, for chapter 4, I don't think it was an issue. I really don't think it was an issue at all, to my opinion. However, even though I haven't played the game, I have seen, and even many others have seen this too, the reason why many did not like it, and I don't think it was just the story. Even though there's also some valid points being that, yeah, the story's kind of bloated. Like, we got two main stories happening with first you versus the doctor, and then the whole background story of Doey and Yarnaby's in the middle. It's a confusing story. Like, even piano swords get butt fucked. Yeah. Like, literally, it's a bloated story. Not a bad one, but definitely bloated. But the other issue and more important issue is quality. And again, I can't say because I haven't actually played Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 or the previous ones. The only one I played was Chapter 3, and even more important, I only play it on Nintendo Switch. So mine may not be valid. Granted, I might get them later, but I only played Chapter 3 to just clue that I'm somewhat a fan of Poppy Playtime. Like, I have, like, the freaking, like, let me say, freaking, like, catnap here. Who gives a fuck? sleep in his bed later. Anyways, the point being is, it is very, like, my opinion might be not valid or stuff, but I have seen the videos. Like, they even, for example, Yarn the Bee's death. Yarn B's death is the best example because in the previous versions, his death, he just gets hooked up and then he catches on fire. In the new updated version, they actually fix it where they actually show what happened and let him die. The end. Like, it literally is much more better, is my point. And look, again, I don't think it's that bad right now because honestly, it's not the same situation as the Pokemon Company, to say the least. But doing a comparison with Poppy Playtime and Pokemon, well, there is might be night and day. There are similar into the factor of why. Why are you rushing this game out? And even further, more importantly, what is Mob Entertainment's excuse? Because the Pokemon Company does have an excuse, even though it is a bullshit one. That is because they're trying to literally say, here's your Pokemon cards and anime. Bullshit. Like, literally that. However, Poppy Playtime don't really have that excuse. And look, I know, like I said, I'm a big fan. I have their two of their merchandise. Oh, I might show this other. I got like this freaking Eye of the Doom Crafty Corn. Whatever. Did it fell? Yeah, it fell right here. Same thing up? Nope. Okay. But still. Yes, I know they have products and all that. I mean, I bought those two from fucking Walmart. And there's like a bunch of doughy plushies in Walmart. But it's not as big as Pokemon. That's the issue here. This is an indie game studio. And even further, it's not as big as like Five Nights at Freddy's. Which even then, they don't have a excuse. Heck, they don't even need an excuse since most of the game, except for Security Breach, at least I know of, do correct me if I'm wrong, but for the most part, and we can all agree on this, Five Nights at Freddy's runs smoothly and much more better, to say the least, with most of their games. Even going back to Security Breach, it runs fine. It's not terrible, but there are bad glitches and all that. But then, say for something like, Amanda the Adventurer, for example, at least what I've seen. The point is, it's very weird, and the reason why I'm making a discussion is people have the right to call Mob Entertainment out, hopefully not in a harassment way, of course. No harassment. But it is kind of fishy. It is a very fishy game situation. Do I think they won't? Do I think they will make sure not to mess up all the way? Absolutely. Because they have, at least, to my opinion, I think they have redeemed themselves since Chapter 3. Because Mob Entertainment does have a bad history. Even ironically, more bad than even Nintendo or anything. If you know their history. Which we're not going to do a whole history log of what the fuck happened with them. Because you already know. But they have improved since after Chapter 2. And I'm willing to say even on Chapter 4, they definitely improve a lot with their marketing. Sure, there's a little bit of hoopla, but most parts, Chapter 3 and 4 proves that they can get their shit together. And they have improved a lot. So I am confident Chapter 5 is going to be fine. I mean, there is going to be the critics. As long as they critic properly, because that's the reason why I'm not even going to put a picket sign on Chapter 4, because those critics were right. There are some problems. I could see it. I haven't played it, but there are problems that see it, especially the story because it's so bloated. But it has shown they have improved. And I know there's this whole Ram Sheep video, which I actually did watch a little bit. He makes a good point that saying that during the development of Chapter 3, they did have some problem with scheduling because they're doing the Project Playtime thing. Go watch Ram Sheep's video on that if you want to know more about that. But I do think they do kind of need to slow down. Now, do I think they will delay the game? It's up in the air. Most video game companies don't delay games. I know this is an indie studio and not an actual, like, we're talking about indie. We're talking even more indie than freaking Yacht Club's games or something like that. But honestly, it all depends. I think they will, but it's 90% sure they won't because, game development and all that. Plus also, many of us have been waiting. And I still think the chapter will be good. I mean, for fuck's sake, we're finally going to see what the hell this prototype guy is. And it seems like we're going to finally get all the answers we've been hoping for. I do have a theory they're going to pull a rug under our feet and make Chapter 6 or something bullshit. I don't know, but we'll see. But anyways, it is a very serious situation, and honestly, I think the best solution Marvel Entertainment should do is kind of not really just delay. If they can't delay, which is fine, they need to truly prove, which I think they're trying to. I know they're trying to, but recent situations, their trailers have shown they're kind of approved, although they're CGI animated trailers. The problem is they're not showing actual gameplay, or they're not showing the reason to care. Unlike Chapter 4, which actually had tons of reasons to care. Like, we got, like, freaking. Hell, I don't even care what people say about them, but I love the nightmare critters. I mean, at this point, you know I love the critters in both fronts, like smiling critters and nightmare critters. But that showed that they were listening to feedback, and that's sort of what made, at least the wait for Chapter 4, pretty great. The issue here is we have not get a sliver of news since after Chapter 4 release of Chapter 5. We only had 2 trailers, and that's it, which is unfortunate. Hopefully, in the future, they release more stuff, but we'll have to see. Anyways, this has been Flockscat. Snappy out here. If you don't mind, I'm going to go on my Switch and recover from this crappy day. Hopefully, today, time of recording, we all have a good day. Anyway, snapping out here. Bye.